introduction. You will decide yourself when you hear her. Diana Abdel-Rahman has been active for more than 30 years in Interfaith and just making the views clear of all minorities in Australia. And then finally last year, she decided that she becomes president of Canberra Multicultural Community Forum and has been playing a very, very active role as a president of Australian Muslim Vice. With pleasure, I invite here Diana Abdel-Rahman.
Thank you so much, Brother Muhammad. And just listening to Harry's speech, Harry is a wonderful person. He's a good friend of mine, and we'll speak louder. Harry, of course, is a wonderful friend of mine from the Jewish community. I actually look to him as my mentor, as I do Kanti Jinnah, who's sitting here from the Hindu community. And I think it's just amazing that somebody like me from the Muslim community looks to a Jewish leader and a Hindu leader. And of course, I want to acknowledge Ahmed Yusuf, who's my #1 mentor. These are the people that I look for when I need guidance and I need information, and their calm disposition. And this is what true multiculturalism is, and this is what real interfaith is that we're talking to each other and understanding each other at a level that nothing else can do. Today, we're here to talk about interfaith harmony and the concept of interfaith harmony meetings and dialogues has of course been occurring in the ACT for a very long time. In the days when people like Alma Armstrong and Vernon Bailey championed the need to bring all faith groups together. Now we have a very strong and active Canberra Interfaith Forum headed by our wonderful Dean Sahul Khan. And in fact, we in the Canberra Multicultural Community Forum first auspiced Dean's group way back when Sam was still the chair, and to make sure that they were able to get a good footing in the community, and I'm so pleased to see it is actually just moved on and grown stronger and stronger. Now sometimes we have to ask the hard questions. Is the vehicle of interfaith dialogue the best way to create a society that is based on harmony? Especially in a country like Australia, when an overwhelming majority of Australians do not consider themselves religious or follow a faith. Are there other ways to reach out to a majority in our community? Of course, the answer is yes. There are indeed many ways we can reach out to communities to create harmony and social cohesion. And that's of course done through federal government, through multicultural policies, through the state or territory governments. And of course we have advocacy groups like the one I am the chair of, which is the Canberra Multicultural Community Forum, that looks at advocating on behalf of the general multicultural community. And then we have, of course, the Canberra Interfaith Forum at a religious level. So firstly, let's have a look at the word dialogue. We use the word dialogue a lot, but what does it actually mean? And of course, I did what everybody else does. I went to Mr. Google. Mr. Google has the answer to everything. And of course, Wikipedia is also that other place where one finds all sorts of information. So according to Wikipedia, dialogue is the literary and theatrical form consisting of a written or spoken conversational exchange between two or more people. Its chief historical origins as a narrative, philosophical or didactic device are to be found in classical Greek and Indian literature, in particular in ancient art rhetoric. So when the dialogue was less important in the 19th century, then it has been in the 18th century, it was not extinct. So it looks like we're coming back to the idea of dialogue. But this time around, I think what we're saying, and I fully support what the Reverend was talking about, the interfaith dialogue, being able to talk to each other at an interfaith level. This is maybe where we went wrong in the past, where we weren't following it properly, where now we're bringing sort of the interfaith concept. And but it comes down to, those of us who view faith with a passion and who are ardent adherents to faith and who work tirelessly bringing faith groups together to speak passionately about current issues facing Australians, either affected as a result of political decisions or even global decisions. The driving force for all our faith is morality, ethics and justice. And that's what brings us together, is the common ground. Those of us who are faith groups. Of course, those who join interfaith groups soon come to realise that there is a very commonality between all faith groups. Not just the Abrahamic faith groups, all the faith groups, as Dean also rightly said. We are all based on morality, ethics, doing good, speaking out against what is wrong, and of course, justice. I suppose once in the group, those who join will realise how amazingly related we all are. So the question I would like to raise today is, how do we bring the anti-faithers, those who hate religion and anything to do with religion, those who might be faith-based, but, for example, hate Islam and hate Muslims. They are out there, believe me, you know. And how do we engage with them, and how do we communicate with them? Maybe if we can at least bring them to sit with us just for an interfaith session, like today, could we change their minds, or at least maybe make them less hostile? This, I believe, is the next challenge for the work of the Interfaith Forum. How do we engage those? And just on a side note, to show you how these groups operate, you probably have heard the Australian Defence League, which is a very anti-Muslim, primarily right-wing group. I had the honour, they took my photo from the web, I've been in the media, God knows, so many times. They've taken a photo of me, they've made a racist, negative meme, and that's now floating on the internet. So somebody said to me, take that as a pride of honour. You've made a difference. These people will look at you as somebody opposing them. Take it with pride. So that's the attitude I'm taking, though I have to say I was officially shocked to see my photo with a negative. And I'm wearing the Palestinian, something I did for Palestine, so there you go. So when we talk about how do we bring the non-faith people, how do we bring those who are not here today? You are here today because you believe in this. You appreciate this, so you're here today. Let's have a look at a couple of examples of what's happening out in the world. In the independent newspaper recently, you've heard of the Marine Le Pen far-right party in Paris, in France. They're very well known for being very anti-immigration, very anti-Islam. Well, recently, one of their members, a councillor, converted to Islam. How did this happen? He actually went on his political campaign, met a local imam, actually sat down with the imam and understood Islam, and was surprised that what he was being told was completely different to what he actually found in this imam. That he actually converted, then comes back to the party and says, you know what, guys, you ought to convert too. So it was an amazing article that made me actually laugh, because, of course, I mean, we're not here to convert people, but it's this opportunity of interfaith, that what we're told about a faith may be completely different. The other thing that has been quite phenomena in Australia is, of course, the Anglican parish of Gosford, a wonderful parish in Gosford of all places. So the role of the church is playing a very strong role in the current political climate and discourse. And of course, the Anglican parish of Gosford is doing that through their Father Rod, where he puts up messages on his big billboard in front of the church. I don't know if you've had a chance to know about it. For those of us on social media, of course we do. Let me read some of the messages that he posts. He puts up simply Team Humanity, and of course that was in response to Tony Abbott, Team Australia. So he put up Team Humanity. How brilliant is that simple message? You didn't need many words to say it was Team Humanity. The other one that I love is honouring First Nations will heal the land. Again, a reminder for our First Nation people that we need to honour them to be able to find healing. The other one is on the asylum seekers, end indifferent mandatory detention. Again, emblazoned across this huge one. And about the next one, how about humanitarian missions to West Africa? We're sending humanitarian missions, of course, to what's happening in the Middle East, but he's talking about what about a humanitarian mission to West Africa? And of course, when the whole burqa debate came about, he had one simple message: bless the burqa. And The photo is him standing in front of it wearing full priest outfit. And what he says in his message, he says, "I'm all for the religions and non-religions, freedom to wear that you like in public." And then he puts in brackets, "I quite like my new party dress," which is his full priest outfit. If we impose a ban on the burqa, in Australia Muslim women usually wear niqab, we must be prepared to accept that by taking away of this religious freedom, we could equally be forced to wear one. There are indeed Christian women who still cover their heads in public or when going to church, and this is their choice. We must be free to wear what we like. It is the deep, rich tapestry of Team Australia. And this is the words of Father Rod. And let me tell you, on his Facebook page, there are over 18,000 members. I am one of them. And there are many Muslims who are members of this page and non-religious people. So the message of interfaith can be very strong. If used correctly, you will be able to bring in those people who not necessarily are faith-based. This is a classic example of how you can do that. And just 2 days ago, the Muslim Public Affairs Council, a US-based group, posted a photo of imams and Christian people, and the message is that the announcement was, "We're proud to join a group of American Muslim organizations in solidarity with Archbishop Theodosius of Jerusalem in announcing the formation of an interfaith coalition to protect Christians and other religious minorities in the Middle East." This, to me, is a very, very important message. This is coming from the Muslim Public Affairs Council, and I'm going to pass this to Dean. That it'll be one of his missions that I would love to see, is that we can bring this here to Australia, that we unite in supporting the Christians of the Middle East, and it's something, again, that we can pick up as part of this. So in the end, I'd like to finish by saying that our message today for me to you is, think about your co-workers, people you know who are not necessarily religious people, about how you can bring them next time that Brother Muhammad organises something like this, that maybe we look at organising something that really do bring in those who are not necessarily faith-based people, to find a way how we can really work for a common humanity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister Diana. Narrative has always been discussed over the years, and there was a heated debate about the narrative which is being used by the media especially, and with the people in politics, and that is painful, definitely. And there have been certainly lots and lots of suggestions that review has to be done, that what should be said and what must be said, and hopefully the notes are being taken somewhere even now. I loved Team Humanity rather than Team Australia. That's a very strong message, to be honest, and thanks for sharing it. One of the things which we discussed the other day was that rippling effect. Those who are here today, it's my request that in any capacity, if you can just share the words, right, with others in community, and ask that person to become a moon.